I don't know. I thought it was a cool way to finish up the album as a whole with a collection of the people of Sludge Life, the inhabitants, the beings that make up the world of Sludge Life, the island, as they refer to it in the game. To put a nice sort of final end to it, with just a very, very few pages left to fill up. And I could fill those with a few more people of Sludge Life. And then that'll be the entire thing, fully filled to the brim. One big, bloody piece. Damn. What you've just seen was me utilising the techniques of performance and of editing to make it seem as though I had just looked through the entirety of this, but decided to cut most of it and start the video ending it. However, I started talking maybe about half a second or a second or so before this video started. I didn't actually look through it all. I started saying about the people of Sludge Life. I didn't look through the rest of it because whilst there are new photos in here, because I had recently been to Sam's house again, I had recently replayed Sludge Life. I had recently printed off more photos to fill up space in here. I didn't feel it necessary to necessarily make you sit through me looking through it again and again and again. As I have shown, there are only a few pages left, and I think once I get those fill up, which will probably be after one more time around, one more trip to Sam's, one more go through in the Sludge Life, one more round of taking pictures, printing them out, putting them in the album, rearranging some stuff maybe, but finalising the whole thing, then I might do a full flip through of the thing. But until then, I think it's had its moment, hasn't it? Isn't that smart of me? Oh, to make it look like I'd done a thing and then I'll cut in at the certain point so it look meta. That's what that is. It's all smart. See, this is a thinking person's podcast. No stupid people here. We're all smart. We're intelligent, and we do a bunch of stuff. You get. Anyway, I do, of course, try to stay aware of the fact that every now and again there are entirely new viewers of all of this who haven't been around. They don't know the lore, the canon of the whole thing, my little world, my awful, sordid, vile little world that I've built. And occasionally they might leave comments saying something like, what the fuck is he talking about? What the fuck is he going on about? So I appreciate that there may be people who watch and I'm going, Sludge Life this, Sludge Life that, remember Hey, you all know my Sludge Life photo album. My Sludge Life photo album is almost its own meme within the context of my podcasts and whatever. But to anyone from the outside, they might look at it and go, what is this? What's happening? What's Sludge Life? I haven't done every very specific thing that Ewan's done. I haven't played every game that Ewan's played, which isn't many. And I tried to be aware of that because that's been a thing that's happened that I've been on the other end of in my life, where it happened a lot with Warhammer in Games Workshop and stuff. Which, the people, the diehard Warhammer fans can be a bit like that, where if you don't know every single aspect of all the background and details of Warhammer stuff, they look at you like you're a fucking idiot. Like, oh, you don't know. You don't know about The only thing I know is like the Horus Heresy. I can say that, but you don't know about the Horus Heresy. Oh, fucking idiot! What, were you literally born yesterday? Are you stupid human? Are you a stupid little baby human? You don't even know about the blah 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 blah. All the boring shit that they go on about. They make you feel less than. They make you feel bad and unknowledgeable for not having all the very, very specific knowledge that they have on a subject they've spent years and years looking into and enjoying and partaking in. And then a newcomer comes along and they get mad at them for not knowing every single detail. And it's like, fucking come on, man. Chill out. Give people space to not know shit. So I know that, especially with the podcast, like when I do other videos, I try to sort of have each of those videos exist in their own little space that they can be viewed individually. But the podcasts can get a little bit heavy on the side of you might not understand everything unless you've watched the last 100 episodes. Oh shit. Oh, that just happened. That happens a lot, by the way. I've got these dumb shaky hands and I just randomly drop the brush sometimes. That was particularly embarrassing. Did you notice I wasn't even doing anything? I was just painting and the brush just went poop out of my hand onto the... Sometimes it's worse because these areas I want to stay white, and there have been times where I've been painting and like the brush has jumped out of my hand like that and gone across a white area, and I've had to then take care of that. By which I mean whip myself on the back with my belt and call myself a bad boy and explain how I'll never be good enough for anything or anyone in this life. It's called self-flagellation. Look into it. I suggest you all partake. It makes you a better person. It makes you a stronger, more morally correct person to self-flagellate regularly. You'll only understand that reference if you've seen episode 106, which I randomly pulled out of my ass just now. There's no actual correlation between... I don't even know what episode 106 would be. It might be the case that I happened to mention self-flagellation in episode 106, but it's unlikely, and I doubt that that's the thing. Point is, I do try to keep in mind that if I start talking about sludge life, there's every chance someone watching might have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. And to them I say, Google exists, fucking use it. But also, you know, it's like comic books. I was talking to Sam about this when I was at his recently. About how I miss... it happens now and then still, but I miss the days when, like... I don't know if those days even existed when I've been alive. But you could go into a comic book shop, buy, like, a Spider-Man comic, and just, like, you know, a 24-page comic book. And that would be... You'd have a story contained within that. But now... You can't, because every comic book is part of a larger story. So if I pick up a random issue of Spider-Man or a Hulk, maybe there's cool art, maybe there's not. But if I want it to read, if I want to read the comic, I'm not going to know where the story is going, where it's come from. I've missed context in the last 12 issues, I don't know. And then what they do is they collect all of those comics and they put them into a trade paperback, a graphic novel, and then they sell them to you again, twice. So if you care about the story, it can often be better, I guess, to wait for the run to finish when they put out the trade paperback. But I want to be able to go into a comic book shop and just pick up a random comic and enjoy it for what it is. Not that I read comics these days, I just look at the pictures, and so for me it's fine. Like, I can just pick up a random comic if it's by an artist I like and enjoy the artwork, and it's all good. But for normal people who like to actually read stories, it's a pretty tragic turn of events. You can't just pick up a thing and have it self-contained, because they do one-shots. One-shot comics do exist, but they're pretty rare. I think at best you might get like what was that? Was it Bloodrick? That was like a 3-part thing. That's kind of cool. Like, it's still not great, but for the most part you can pick up one issue and enjoy it to a greater or lesser extent. But it only having 3 parts, you don't have to collect 8, 10, 12 issues of a thing to get the whole story. And yeah, in some way, on some level, I do feel a need to apologise. Not apologise in the fact that I'm doing anything wrong or that I need to change what I'm doing, but to apologise in acknowledgement of the fact that the podcast can sometimes be, I don't know, maybe a bit bewildering. I don't know. There's just sometimes you just don't know what the fuck's going on or what I'm talking about. If I'm talking about something very specific, it be like that sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it be like that, and you have to deal with it. But what that should do is give you then, the viewer, if you are one of the viewers who watches and doesn't necessarily know what the fuck I'm talking about, then that should give you the drive to then go and watch every single episode I've ever made of my podcast and enjoy them all equally, even the bad ones. And there have been some bad ones. I don't know if I could pinpoint, well, this is particularly a bad one, this is a particularly bad one. I'd have to watch them all the way through. Seasons 2 to 4 are bad. Season 1 was okay because it was like the start, and then season 5 onwards has been pretty good, with the occasional dud here and there. But this current season, I think, is going okay. I think a lot of it is helped by the audience. I think the audience play a large part in the podcast being good. Because if I feel the audience are enjoying it and feeding back, then that makes me want to make it good and give back to the audience that are enjoying it. And so hopefully it becomes like a more symbiotic. I'm just waiting for paint to dry. We're literally watching paint dry. This will be the episode now. We're just watching paint dry. I'll show you what this is for. So this is a ghost sticker. I made some for this ghosts. It's part of graffiti. You put up stickers. You write your name on shit, like the "Hello, my name is" thing. You tag it, put it up, make your own little character stickers. That's a very common thing in the world of graffiti, stickers. So I made a bunch. Now, in the game of Sludge Life, the pause menu, is like a 90s laptop screen with like little icons, and you click on them and it comes up with menus, and you click on them with a little cursor, a little hand cursor. And then, anytime you use an item, once you stop using it, your character just throws the item down on the ground in front of you, which can be quite funny if you're taking a picture of somebody, and then once you're done taking the picture, you just throw the camera forward and it hits them in the face. And I do that repeatedly sometimes because it's just funny watching a camera bounce off of someone's face in front of you. It doesn't affect them, it's just a thing. The item just goes with whatever it is. And that happens with the laptop. So the laptop is an item in the game. You can't use it in the game, but you use it by using the pause screen. So once you pause, it brings up the laptop screen, and then once you unpause, the laptop gets thrown down in front of you. And you can use the laptop in a way to like block a laser beam so you can crawl under a thing. But the laptop itself has stickers on it. And then so I it looks like this. I'll put it up on screen. And so I got my laptop. So if I need to Google anything this episode, I'm fucked because my laptop's in use for now. So I made, this is like a start thing that he has on there. He made some stickers. Start with the, and then this is going to go there. The sizing's not exactly right compared to the reference image, the laptop from the game. But I liked it, and so I thought, yeah, you know, I made a little cigarette packet, made t-shirts, a whole photo album with these stickers and shit on it. Clearly I'm a fan, but I like to make things, and so I thought I'd quite like to model my laptop after Ghost's laptop. So that's what I'm doing. So that's what this is here. You may notice, the eagle-eyed ones of you might notice that my desk looks particularly tidy. I don't know if it even really shows like on camera or whatever. But there's normally loads of pens like here, highlighters and ballpoint pens and shit, all encroaching into the screen. But I didn't tidy my whole desk. I just organised a bit more. I have this, and I'm trying to actually use that because I've done that a few times with the intention of now having a tidier desk, and when I've used my pens, put them back in the thing instead of just like Ghost. See, I'm just like Ghost in Sludge Life. Once I've used some shit, I go, yeah, that'll do, and I throw it down because then it's there next time I need it. It's right in front of me. But instead, I have to go like this. That's all it is. It's perfectly within reach. I don't have to go out of my way to put it there. It's right there, nice and easy. So we'll see how long that lasts. So I just organised, at least somewhat, all of the fucking pens because I was trying to do a rough drawing for a commission on an A3 piece of paper, and I literally had like this much space just here. I couldn't fit the paper, and this is sized to where an A3 piece of paper should fit on it comfortably, but I couldn't. I was like, had to draw in a corner and then move it and draw in the next bit, and it was so like, it was at that point where I was just like, for fuck's sake, god damn it, just fucking and so I tidied a little bit, and it was, things were a little bit better now. So now my desk is a little bit tidier. That's ultimately that. Oh look, my desk is a little bit tidier now. Isn't that wonderful or fucking something? I don't know. This was an interesting find. There I was, picture it, fair viewer. There I was in the comic book shop looking around for anything at all. Even if it's just a tiny little, like a 20-page comic with a few little good drawings in that I can show off on the podcast. Anything I was looking for, hoping to find something worth looking through, worth showing to you. And I was at a loss until I turned the corner. Lo and behold, what do I see? A lovely McMahon Slaine on the cover of this definitive edition 2000 AD, slightly larger than normal printed book. And I think, no, it can't be, it can't possibly be. And I open it up. And there's a bunch of Mick McMahon Slaine, the old black and white Mick McMahon Slaines in here. So I had to get it, and it was like I had a bunch of money off as well. I was able to get this and another thing I was buying for cheaper than the original cost of the book. So that's nice, isn't it? Obviously, it's not just his art. There are other artists, or maybe it's only one other artist, 2 artists and 2 writers. Is that? Oh no, there's other artists. My apologies. Largely 2 artists. Some art from Angie Kincaid. I don't want to diminish their work, but it's largely Mick McMahon and Massimo Bellardinelli. Massimo Belladinelli. You get it. And of course, so I pick it up, as I do often. I find some kind of shit with loads and loads of fantastic artists, and I don't care about any of them. I'm just looking for that one. The Ashley Wood, the James Harron, Simon Bisley, just the one artist that I can focus on because they're the only one I like. And almost amusingly, on the front of this it says every comic book artist should want to be Mick McMahon, the Gutter Review, which for me to sit here and make some silly little podcast only liking one specific artist amongst several, that's one thing. But if your art is in a book, if your art is being printed in a book, and maybe this is old art so it doesn't matter as much, maybe they don't care, but like, you make some art, it gets published, it gets put into a book, and then they say on the front cover, every comic book artist should want to be this other artist that isn't you. It's like, well, fuck me then. Great. Oh, fucking thank you so much. So good to know I'm loved and appreciated as much as Mick fucking Marn. I mean, he was a huge part of early 2000 AD. And I guess still is a huge part of 2000 AD as a whole. But I feel bad now for the other artists involved when Mick McMahon gets singled out as the good one. Anyway, there's a lot of cool art in here. A lot of it is very sort of like, it feels very 70s, 80s fantasy art illustration, which it is, so that makes sense. But it definitely feels of that time. So all these bodies, the stances, the movements and the line work and the shadows and lights and stuff, it feels very much of the time. Which is cool, you know. If you were into this shit back then, seeing this shit weekly in a British comic would be fucking fantastic. I can't hold this comfortably in a way that it's like I can turn the pages well. And there's some fucking cool bits like that. Is that a warp spasm? Like, Jesus, that's some cool drawing, man. I'd be happy to draw shit like that in comics. I'd argue this is even drawn better than Marvel comics from around that time. Like, you look at some of the old Spider-Man comics from around this similar time, and they look like shit. There are some good ones. It was a very glib thing to say, and it was a very sort of, I don't know, shitty way to say it. But you look at some of the old, like, Marvel and DC comics, and you just wonder, how is this, like, the top standard of comic book artwork? Whereas this looks way better than a lot of that, so, you know, something. However, you then get to Mr. McMahon, and it almost looks like it's from space. It looks like it's from another dimension with how different it looks. One of the large parts you notice first is I can almost call them black with big inverted commas areas that aren't black. Like, it looks very grey because his heavy black areas are like scribbled with whatever sort of pen he's using, or dip pen or whatever, which does create darker areas, but they almost don't look black enough. But they work for, you know, they suit his style. And I think you see later on, he obviously made them thicker and more black. Maybe that was an editor's note saying they need to be more black. Maybe that was his own artistic inclination to deepen the black shadowy areas of his drawings. I'd have to ask him to truly know about it. But just every element of it, not just the inking, Well, not just the shadows and those parts of the inking, but the line work itself. It's got a very scratchy look to it that I really enjoy, because in the sort of the brushwork of this almost typically fantasy art, there's a certain amount of like, there's precision, but there's a certain line quality that they look like they're aiming to achieve and almost emulate from other fantasy artists. And I think maybe that's one of the main things, is this looks like a lot of fantasy art from around that time, whereas this doesn't. Like the line work itself, it's these thin scratchy lines. The shapes of the bodies are really sort of like angular and dynamic. Like even the muscles and shit, they don't look big and bulbous, they look thin and sinewy. And it's very, very different, and I appreciate that, while still looking really fucking fun as hell to draw. I don't know what the hell's going on, but his eyes coming out and his body's all fucking gangly and shit. This arm and this hand, the shapes of the muscles and the forms and stuff, the hand being like this, the body arching and stuff. It's great. The dark areas need to be darker, because I don't know how it looks in the camera, but like, I don't know, I feel like something gets lost with the dark areas not being that dark. It could even just be that it's this printing of it, because I've not seen the originals. Maybe it looks darker in actual real life, but he's got such a great sense of shape and style and storytelling. Like this panel's fantastic. The characters, like just on the top here with the text here, like, and then zooming in on this guy's face for this panel, and then a long thin panel separated from these 6 panels are all together. I assume this is all telling the same part, or parts of the same main chunk of the story, and then a separate panel to end with. I guess those panels are also connected. Oh yeah, the whole story is connected like that, apart from this bit. Maybe they're telling... Oh, I think this is Slaine telling a story from his past, and so it's all contained. So that's smart too. I wonder if that was McMahon or if that was an writer's choice, but that's cool. Roll up, see Slaine the giant. I've slain a few giants in my time, by which I mean sleeping with people's giant mums. I don't know what I mean by that. Or even in this next story, the blacks are a lot heavier. I'm aware every time I say the blacks, it feels like I'm being racist. We all know that's not what's happening. I'm talking about the colours. That's why I try to use words like inking and shadows and just trying not to say the blacks. But I mean the blacks of the inking of the page. Yeah, they're a lot darker even in this next story, so maybe it's a printing thing, maybe he is literally figuring it out as he goes. I don't know. He draws a good horse. I like his horses. Because you can draw a stylized horse and have it look absolute horse shit. But he does a good horse. Does Mr. McMahon. His fight scenes are good. The way he draws angular dynamic bodies really fit really well into fight scenes. When you get the bodies really sort of like arching over and into one another. Those make for some good elements. It's a simple thing, but even like again with the storytelling, from behind Slaine looking at this person, from behind this person looking at Slaine, and then a little shot of all of them with Ukko there as well. I like the far shots with the space for the text and the white space. with leaving space like this, it's when you're making a comic, part of you thinks, I've got to put in some element of the background so you know where they are at all times. But then you do, like, if you've done it properly, you've sort of set up where they are. There are trees around, so you know that much. Or are they in a place? Maybe they're in like a village or something, I don't know. But so you go, okay, they're in a field by trees and stuff. So you draw enough elements so you know where they are. That means you don't have to show where they are in every panel, which means you can allow yourself to have some more stark open panels when the important part is the people talking, not the environment around them. Of course, it is possible to then go too far the other way and have almost the entire story just be blank backgrounds, which a lot of early image comics by certain artists are known for doing. And then there's other artists. I was going to say, who gives a shit about them? But actually, this is really cool. This like Lich. Oh, the Lord Weird Slough-Egg. He's in one of the other Slaine books I was looking at. One of the other McMahon books I was looking at. That's fucking cool. So I can sit here and go, yeah, other artists, whatever, don't care. But they're really, really good. They are really good. The thing is, I know a younger me hated like fantasy. I only liked sci-fi because I liked armor and guns and shit. Or like, you know, sci-fi armor, Space Marines. I look at it in terms of like Warhammer. Like I loved Warhammer 40,000 when I was a kid because guns and, you know, I preferred like chaos. So I liked the demons and guns and possessed Space Marines, whatever. And then the idea of Warhammer Fantasy was so like, meh, meh, meh. I ride a horse and I wear chainmail and I got a spear and a meh, 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 meh. Like I didn't care about any of it. Obviously, times have changed. And I still like sci-fi, but I think I have a much greater appreciation for like fantasy worlds. If nothing else, maybe part of that comes from the fact that fantasy is sort of largely takes from medieval times, and medieval times happened. That was actually like Vikings and shit. There's historical context for a lot of fantasy, and it, you know, a lot of fantasy comes from like folklore and mythology and stuff. Whereas sci-fi is just like a lot of people going, oh, what if cars flied? What if like neon lights were everywhere? What if everyone had weird haircuts and like digital bits on their heads, on their temples and shit? Oh, guns that go pew pew instead of bang. Not that I don't like. I say that in a very mocking tone. It's not that I don't like sci-fi. I just think stories and art feel a lot richer when there's more behind it. So like fantasy art, good fantasy art comes from a place of like folklore and mythology and historical stories and context. And like the armor, the weaponry is often based on that kind of shit. And that's why I think that's one of the reasons I prefer the texture. I like the texture and the dirt and the life of fantasy art and fantasy stories and stuff, rather than sci-fi. Because sci-fi, you can have dirt and grit in sci-fi. I guess cyberpunk, sort of, the good cyberpunk is dirty, like Blade Runner, classic Blade Runner. But I don't like when sci-fi goes into like the pristine white surfaces and glass buildings, and it's all just a bit of fucking shut up. Give me back my dirt. I want dirt and rats and axes and gruel and ogres and witches, hot, sexy, big-titted witches with their clothes torn, stirring cauldrons of dead babies. And rats, lots and lots of rats. Look, it's more Mick McMahon. His name's quite fun to say, Mick McMahon. previously known as Mike McMahon. I still want to know where the change happened. It says Mick McMahon here, and it says Mike McMahon. I don't know. There's a lot going on that page. Chariots and shit. People talking. Action happening. Fights. Lots of details in the armour and weapons and things. That's a killer first page. Again, if you open up an issue of 2000 AD and that's like the first page you see, that's killer. That's a really, really good first page. My ear's popping at the moment. I'm doing weird jaw movements to hopefully try to make it go away. Love these panels. Because I think one of the reasons I do like McMahon's inking, as I have said before, with his scribbly shadows, is the scribbly shadows. Because it's not just solid blacks. Like most modern comics, this would all be, the penciler would put put X's in all of these areas to denote that the inker has to fill in these areas solid black, and that's what would happen. Whereas when it's the original artist doing the inking, they do it their way, and his way is to do it, and it's got texture to it. So every, like, the pages that have a lot of shadow especially, there's so much going on, even when there's large areas of just black. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of detail, a lot of bodies, a lot of action, things. I love these structures. They're based on or not existing, but like they're based on historical structures and shit. There's a lot happening. And then when you get to a panel like this, I think it's so good, where they're all stood on the one line, blank background, open panel, no borders, apart from this one line, weirdly. It's a really just a nice little like visual punch of just like image. And then you get Slaine and Ukko hung upside down by whoever the fuck this guy is from the previous. I knew it, you dirty dwarves, been bleeding me white. You can't live by your own sweat. You've got to squeeze it out of others. We were going to give you a cut, Slaine. No, I bet they were. You already did. Yeah. By luck. What's been going on here? Oh no. They've got them strung up in a pit of bones. Bones, bones, bones. Ooh, the Ogham alphabet. Now, I could be entirely wrong, but I believe that this is, if not actually a real thing, based on a real thing, the Ogham alphabet, of how some of these ancient peoples wrote. And it's in Slaine, like the Horned Garden and whatever else. I don't know. I think I read or heard somewhere that they would often, not always, but it could be used to like etch into stones, like on the corner of a stone. So like if this line going through the alphabet is the edge of a corner, and then the notches would be cut like into it, and so they'd be above and below, and that would denote the different letters. I think that's a real thing. I might have made it up. I might be lying. I might have dreamt it. I might have pulled it out of my asshole. But I think that's a real thing. It's so simple. These bodies, the way they're shaped and the way they're moving, there's a lot of movement in them, even though they're very, very almost simply shaped. And Slaine here, the way he's sort of like arched over. But to me, this looks a lot more pleasing than I don't know if I've gone past it or not. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I don't know. There was a panel with like three guys running towards the viewer. I don't know where it is. God damn it. Fucking, this is fun, isn't it? Let's watch a video where you can't find something. Gah. I pointed it out. I was talking about it for a moment earlier. Ugh. Well, you know what I mean. It's just I find this visually a lot more appealing than art like this. I think maybe the fact that it looks different is a part of that. That it doesn't look like all the other art you see. I like angular. I like lines. Lines are very important to me in how I appreciate art, how I make art. And so when I see some good line usage, I like it. I like this pose. It's used here as well. I've used that a few times. And there. Oh, it's the same. But it's also there. And there. Same pose 4 times in 2 pages. But not in such a way that that it looks shit. Or does it? I don't know. It's the sort of thing, if I was making a comic and I got it all drawn and I realised, I know this would have been drawn possibly quite a while before this, because this would come out the next week if it's a new page, a new story. But for instance, even on one page, if I had a guy making this pose with an axe, and then one panel down was a guy making almost the same pose with a sword, I'd be a bit like, oh, I probably have to change that in some way, somehow. Which makes me better than Mick McMahon. Therefore, every comic book artist should really want to be me. That's great. I love that. Pose, the fact he's off the ground, the angularness of it, the line weight, just sort of almost scribbly, like line, the leg drawn in there with the spears going through him, almost holding him off. Or one spear, and that's his sword, isn't it? Yeah, the spear. So Slaine did the old throw the spear with the foot trick, which appears in several Slaine comics, into this guy, and it's almost lifting him off the ground. It's a great pose there as he's slashing at a guy, fighting him. You can see it's 2 different drawings, but very similar drawings. Again, it's not a bad thing. It's one guy talking, and it's, in a film. Oh, it's there again. Yeah, they cut to his face when he's talking, so it's fine. I'm not pointing it out to be a bad thing. I'm pointing it out as just a thing I noticed in the comic. And then it's just a bunch more shit. It's really good shit. I mean, I like this. This boar guy. I think he appears a bit earlier on as well. But rain's really hard to draw in black and white. You just need to make sure you've got like a good white ink that goes over your black ink effectively, which very few white inks do, but there are some out there. Because I used to think, dumb Ewan, when I didn't understand how comics were made, I used to think all of these white lines of the rain were gaps left whilst doing the black ink. And then you have lines going like this, and you're supposed to leave gaps to make the white line. I didn't understand how that was done. Quite simply, it's white ink over the top. Fucking idiot, young Ewan. Don't know, damn fucking thing. Well, I like this bull guy charging through the panel. This boar man, minotaur. I mean, quite a cool thing, wouldn't it? A minotaur, but like a boar, which I guess is almost exactly what this is, but to have a bit more emphasis on it would be quite neat. Great dynamic, angular bodies in motion, having a fight. His body here, his arm and his leg there. Ukko poking him from the corner. Just good fun bodies, good fun drawings, good fun comics, good fun art. And then this is all, the next load of McMahon drawings in here is stuff I've shown. It's this book basically, but it is, a bit bigger, not much, but a bit. See a bit more detail, which is nice. I appreciate it. And then some other artist. It's good art, but it's not McMahon, so I don't care. I don't care. Well, that is really good though. But I don't care. And that goes on there. Fantastic. Just like Ghost's laptop. And once I'm done with it, I can chuck it down like it's nothing. But I won't, because it would break. And then I'll lose access to all of my precious podcast episodes that I have stored on there. And also pornography. Haha! See, you thought I was gonna say pornography. But I said something else instead. So I was at Sam's recently. I might have mentioned. He gave me these. He was like, "Oh, do you want these, by the way?" And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" He goes, "Oh, it's sticky labels." And I was like, oh, "Yes! Give them to me now! I need them." He bought them for a little like sticky label for a label printing machine, a little label printer for address labels for our business, Violent Skateboards. Go to violentskateboards.com and buy a skateboard. Address labels for printing addresses for people who buy shit at violenceskateboards.com. Apparently these are the wrong ones and they didn't fit, so he was like, "Ewan, do you want them?" And I said, "Yes, I need them. Give them to me now." And so that's what I've been using to make my thing. And I thought, well, let's make some more shit. Let's make some more cunting stickers. You cunting sticker. Now I have some still. I think this is still. Yeah, I've still got some of this wet green paint, so I might use some of that. Should we do a goblin? I mean, that's a fairly basic one, isn't it? It's a goblin sticker. Do it like this. Ear here and ear there. It'll be a little bit weird looking, but I know it'll work. Yeah, that'll work. Let me do this just so when I paint over it I can actually see where the lines are going to be going. Yeah, I can. That's cool. That'll do. That's all we need. They say love is all you need. But that was a band and they're shit, so who cares? The Beatles. Oh, why don't you call yourself the Woodlouses or something? I don't know. That's funny, isn't it? Beatles, what are you? A bunch of woodlouses. Are you a bunch of cockroaches? The Beatles. What are you, a bunch of cunts? What are you, Beatles, more like beat my wife. Don't say that. I don't know why I said that. I didn't mean that. Oh yeah, I did. God, look at that. 3 apple squeaks in one. That's when you know it's a good episode. I told you, see? The community creates stronger vibes and the episodes get progressively better as a result of that. You people, you make the episodes better. So you know I've had a good episode when I get 3 squeaky apples in one of them. Who decides when the squeaky apple appears? Well, me, of course, but you know, I know when it's going well. I know when we've got a good episode on our hands. Even if it does start with me talking about a video game which almost literally nobody I know has shown any interest in other than me. Like, I've had some people watch the episodes and have said to me, "Oh, I'll have to check that game out," and I never hear from them again. I can only assume they either A, didn't check it out, or B, did check it out and were like, "This isn't really my thing. I'm not really into it." I don't know what the fuck Ewan's talking about when he spends hours and hours going on about fucking Sludge Life. Me and Sam were kind of like half joking, saying, because I do have at least some kind of line of contact towards the artist behind Sludge Life, Terry Velman. And so I still do plan on talking to him to try to interview him, because I do want to make some like big grand video specifically about Sludge Life. I will get to that point one day. And then Sam and I were sort of like half joking with each other, saying like, oh, maybe you could get him to put you in Sludge Life 3. And I was like, I will be in Sludge Life 3. I'll make sure, even if it's just some small background character, I have to be in Sludge Life 3. Which is like, you know, it's funny, it's whatever. It's quite a funny thing to think, but let's do another one. But I recently saw Terry Velman post something on his Instagram about how the online store, which I think is shopsludgelife.com or sludgelifeshop.com, something like that, is going to be closing down. Which leads me to believe the hype around Sludge Life, if there has been any, is maybe not there anymore. And is quite likely that if there ever was the possibility of there being a Sludge Life 3, I'm not so sure that is the case now. Which is a shame. Oh, it's not. I did it wrong. Let's start again. I'm trying to do a Flesh Bob sticker, but I need to try to do the... Don't know if I'm going to be able to make it as big as I want. So I want the nose to stick out, of course. But I want it to be square, and I can't fit it in. I have to just make it smaller, I think. Or make his nose... So, how is this going to work? Can we make this work? Come on, I'm a professional artist. I've got to be able to make a fucking Flesh Bob sticker. What are we doing here? Yeah, that'll do. That'll do it. Yeah, so I mean, even... I never necessarily thought there would be a Sludge Life 3. I think, 2 is probably enough for any indie video game maker to do. But then the fact that they are closing down their web store leads me to believe that's probably it as far as Sludge Life goes. It's probably just about done. Which for me is a huge shame, because it's obviously one of my favourite things ever, especially of recent years. But ultimately, it is what it is. It's a sad day though, isn't it? Is it? No, it's not. Shut up. I'm just saying shit. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And if you are just saying shit for the sake of saying shit, maybe that's a sign that you just should stop trying to say shit and just fucking shut up. Hey Ewan, have you ever thought about shutting your fucking mouth? I did one time. But then something funny. Blah blah blah. Something funny. The end. 4 squeaky apples. 1 episode. God damn. This is going to be one of the highest rated episodes we've ever had. And I say we, because we are a collective. We're like the Borg. Or a bunch of wasps. Probably more like wasps than the Borg. Because we're all a bunch of pests. And we're all hated. And I mean we as in you, the viewer, and me, the doer. The viewer and the doer. A love story. in 1080p. This is still wet? I don't know, because the stickers, they're not like super glossy, but they have some kind of coating to them. So when I put the highlighter on, you can see it's quite shiny. It's quite wet. It's I don't know. Yeah, it does dry, but I think it's going to take a while to dry properly. Dude, some of this shit. Which means it can be difficult to make stickers on them. That's all the ideas I had. I thought, oh, I'll just do a quick little goblin sticker, a quick little flesh bob sticker, and then be done with it. And now I'm out of ideas. I don't know what else to do now. I could do an axe with a smiley face and legs. That could be a funny little sticker, couldn't it? A funny little axe guy. That's been done, isn't it? That's in various forms of media. I don't know. I hit myself in the dick the other day. Not on purpose, not this time anyway. Maybe I've hit myself in the dick on purpose before. But this wasn't one of those times. I dropped my keys, you see. I dropped my keys and I swung my hand to try to grab them out of the air, and my hand continued to swing, not grabbing the keys. The keys hit the floor. My hand hit my dick. Right in the dick is where it hit me, and it hit me right in the dick. I hit myself in the dick with my hand, right in my dick. Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that a barrel of fucking laughs? Hitting myself in the cock like a cock. Fire axes, are they like the axe head is red and then the blade is like shiny metal colour? Or is it the other way around? I think it's that way around, isn't it? Because I think if it was a white axe with a red blade, it would look like it's just got blood on it. But I think it is this way around, isn't it? Red axe head. I've had a red head a few times. I haven't really. It's more like a bruised purple than red. Especially when I swing my hand into it like a fucking idiot. Oh, let me just catch my keys. Oh, nope. That's my dick. That's me hitting myself in the cock. Because I'm inept. What the fuck I'm doing? I don't know what I'm talking about. Let me shut up, Ewan. Why don't you just fucking shut up? I have other things I can or could talk about, but a bunch of them I'm like, oh no, because that could be a whole episode. So don't. Sometimes I'm happy to spoil shit like that, but sometimes I don't want to. Look, it's Axie. Axie axe, the bipedal axe. He's gonna axe you some questions and chop up your children. Nice kid you've got there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. Chop, chop! Now your babies are dead. Do-do-do. That's one thing you may have noticed. I did tell myself, stop making jokes about dead babies. And for the most part, I was successful. But I just ruined it by making a joke about dead babies. I apologise to myself. I'm better than that. Look, it's funny little. And then we cut it out. I guess that's the expertly cut Some people use machines to like print and cut their stickers. Those people are called shit. Do it yourself. Machines. And you get AI to do it. Get AI to make you some stickers. Go on. You whore. Look at that. Perfect. It's Axie Axe. The fun little axe. He's got axe for a head. He's got an axe for a body, I guess, hasn't he? Hey, the axe head is his head. It's literally... That's mostly dry. That's probably fine, isn't it? It's probably fine. Is this the... No, that's not the good one. Where's the good one gone? There we go. It's more solid black. I'm thinking about starting a series of videos called Art Attack. And wearing a red sweater. And making them legitimately like... See, the obvious me thing to do would be Art Attack, but I swear a lot. But I'm thinking about doing it completely like legitimately. Like just, hey, if I was the presenter of Art Attack, maybe I'll swear now and then, but you know, I won't. I'll at least try not to overdo it. And I'll just be like, hey, here's an idea. It's making some stickers. All you need is a bunch of shit. Again, I'll try not to swear. But try to do it like legitimately like Art Attack. Because I had in the episode, I had the Art Attack intro as my intro. So that, but that's the whole show, the whole episode like that. Where it's the episode is Art Attack. Oh no, that's far too light. It's a dark red. I thought it would work as the outline, but alas, I'll use it for the tongue, I guess. Put some here. Because old Neil Buchanan, Mr. Art Attack himself, he's a pretty good artist. Could draw and make shit. I just think I could do better. If I had like a budget, if I could afford to like make a show, I would legitimately make Art Attack. And then the big Art Attacks, I wouldn't make shit on a floor, which is really was wildly impressive when he did that. Especially as a kid, you see that stuff and you're just like, oh, no way. But I'd paint on walls. Like I'd find, it would be legal in London or wherever else. I'd paint huge murals. Sometimes just with spray paint. Sometimes I'd use just like rollers and, like home painting emulsion and whatever. Sometimes maybe I'd collage onto the walls. Like I'd try to really do it, like my own version of Art Attack. Like, so I could start the episode, have the intro, whatever, and then it fades out and there's me. I'm just hanging out reading a comic, being like, oh, sorry, didn't see you there. Oh, I was just reading this comic. It's really, really fun. The story's, about two guys hitting each other with hammers. It's whatever. Do you know what I really like about comics? I love the art. Did you know every comic you've ever seen has been drawn by a person, apart from AI, I guess. But have you ever wanted to draw your own comic? Let's have a go. And then I did a little Art Attack video about drawing your own comics. And then for the big Art Attack, I could draw like a big comic, a whole page, like a whole comic page, just like 4 panels or something, on a wall as a big Art Attack. Until I get a cease and desist order from whoever owns the Art Attack IP saying this theft. You're literally stealing. I do have a couple of ideas to get around that. I'm not going to divulge those just yet because I might try and actually do something with it. But it's ideas, isn't it? Have an episode where I'm surrounded by cats, and then I'm like, what are all these cats doing here? Why are there so many cats in here? What's going on? And then I go, oh, do you know what? Let's draw some cats. And then it's about drawing cats, and let's Art Attack draw some cats. I've thought about it, you know. I think I used the intro just as a goof, just because it was quite funny. But the more I've sort of thought about it, the more I'm like, I could make an Art Attack show. Like, I could do it just like I do this, just my podcast, whatever. But then, if I was able to get some kind of budget, which I know, pipe dream at best, but I could make it like an actual show. I could make my own Art Attack show. Until the lawyers tell me to stop. Anyway, there's some fucking stickers, you cunts. This is an Art Attack, cunts. There, make some cunting stickers, you fuck farts. Eat shit. These are available to purchase. Hit me up on Instagram. £60 each. They're hand drawn. These are each individual works of art. Send me a message. Send me some money.